Welcome to Wi-Fi Matters. Today is going to be pretty cool because I'm going to be talking about flipping with the flipping ninja AJ. I don't really know much about flipping, to be honest, so let's go straight into the interview and listen to what AJ has to say. I hope you enjoy the interview. Hi AJ, thank you so much for being on Wi-Fi Matters. I'm super excited to have you here and I can't wait to learn more about flipping because it's something I really don't know much about.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
What exactly is flipping?
Yeah, so first off, flipping is basically, it's really simple. It's when you buy something low or you acquire something, you make it pretty, you make it clean, fix it up if you have to, and you turn around and you sell it for a higher price. So you make a profit, right? So for example, let's say someone is selling an old cell phone for 20 bucks, right?
Yeah.
You know online that they're going for $70. So what do? You buy it for 20, you take new pictures, you write a new description, you post it for sale for 70 bucks and
You made 50.
boom, 50 bucks, just like that. Very little work, very little time, and that's literally all it is.
Okay.
So it's really profitable.
Yeah,
And yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so when did you do your first flip, and was it planned or was it like spontaneous?
So my first flip was, it's funny because at the time I wasn't consciously thinking of it as a flip. It just kind of happened. So it was kind of accidental. It was a keyboard. So it was a Yamaha keyboard. So I play piano
Okay, cool.
and I had a keyboard and I bought it for I think like 80 bucks or something. I played it for a year and I decided I wanted to upgrade.
Mm,
So I'm like, I'm gonna sell this one. So I posted it for like 100 bucks and it sells. So I'm like, oh my God, I just made 20 bucks. Right. So I didn't really realize it, but I'm like, I could do that with this. What if I did this with more items or more keyboards? Right. So it kind of just grew from there and went in all sorts of directions. Right.
yeah, I see. That's interesting. So, do you now consider yourself as like a professional flipper?
Um, I guess you can use the word professional, but the more important part that I guess determines a person's skill level, so to speak, is how much can you make doing this? So how successful can you become? How good are you at being able to recognize deals and opportunities, quickly finding out the value and profit for something? And most importantly, how confident are you in yourself?
I see. Okay,
Right. So a lot of it comes down to that.
okay, that's interesting. Um, so how long have you been flipping for then?
So I started flipping when I was, I think, maybe 15 or 16. So was that like 13 years or something?
Okay. Yeah, it's like a lot of uh teens who listen to this podcast around that age. So why is flipping such a good thing for teens to do?
So I think flipping is a good option as a side hustle
Okay.
to get into for teens because, well, one, obviously it's very profitable. I mean, you can make in just a few hours or a couple of days what most people make in, 2 weeks working a full-time job sometimes. So the money is great. And then next is it teaches you as far as, I mean, and this applies to teens or adults, but flipping teaches you crucial business skills
Okay.
that will serve you in all parts of your life. So
Okay.
things like knowing how to recognize opportunity, knowing how to make quick decisions,
Okay.
quick and accurate decision making, knowing how to research something quickly, right? Knowing, you know, crucial marketing and sales skills like copywriting, skills like, you know, uh, just all sorts of valuable skill sets that, most adults don't even learn. I mean, a lot of the things you can't, unfortunately, you don't learn these things in school.
Yeah.
So if you can learn a lot of these skills early on, then you'll most likely have a very good life and they will serve you forever. So, even things like attention to detail
Mm-hmm.
or, time management skills. For example, a lot of people work day jobs, right? So they simply go to work, they punch in they work, quote unquote, work for
Mm-hmm.
8 hours. They punch out and they go home. So they work the same hours per day and make the same amount, right?
Yeah.
Um, and in fact, many people working 9 to 5s, I mean, I don't know, you won't believe how much time is wasted because I came from that world. I used to work a 9 to 5 job. So it's interesting how much time just in general is wasted. I'm talking things like, meetings or just, there's not a lot of progress that gets done on a, minute by minute
Yeah.
basis,
Yeah. I can,
which I understand. I mean, they're big companies and et cetera, but when it comes to flipping, there is no overhead. There is no, oh, I got to check in with, you know, staff or my boss or all these people. It's just you.
mm-hmm.
So basically, another thing, so that, I mean, as a teen, just especially in today's day and age with so much distractions, I mean, everyone's got smartphones, there's YouTube videos, podcasts, things that are pulling people in so many directions
Yeah.
that if you can learn to master your time, then you'll be at a great advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, just the freedom aspect. I mean,
Yeah, you have like control sort of.
yeah, so you have full control, you have full flexibility
Mm-hmm.
of your time, right? So you don't have to miss your favorite TV shows, or you don't have to skip
Yeah.
hanging out with your friends or whatever because you have to go to work. You literally set your own schedule. You're your own boss, so to speak. And the thing is, it's not easy being your own boss, and it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, some people are just naturally designed to show up somewhere, be told what to do, go home.
Okay.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But flipping is for, I guess people like me or people who, I would say most teens, I mean, a lot of them, they want control, they want freedom, they want to,
Cool.
be their own boss, so to speak. So, uh, for those people who do want to, I guess, step their foot into entrepreneurship in a sense, it's also a great vehicle.
Mm.
And not to mention, it's super fun and flexible. I
Yeah.
mean, you never know what you're going to run into. Like I flipped the most random items that, like, just super weird and random, like ventriloquist dolls, right? Like, pirate pistols, and,
So,
mannequins, super random things. And it's just super fun.
mm-hmm.
Uh, and it's fun exploring and buying and selling. And then, of course, there's, like once you learn the skill set, you will be, as far as, maybe you have friends or family members who need help, or maybe they have stuff they want to get rid of or sell.
Okay.
They don't know how to do it. Maybe they don't know how to use technology, right? And you can help them, you can help others. So ultimately, I mean, it's a great all-around skill for anyone to learn. And even if you never use the skill, let's say you just learn how to do it, you develop the habits of,
Yeah.
like, knowing how to find opportunity, the thinking, the mindset,
Yeah.
that in itself will serve you across, every part of your life.
Yeah. Like, could you elaborate a little more on like the mindset of a flipper?
Yeah, so when it comes to the mindset of a flipper, one of the big things is that you're always aware of opportunities. Like, no opportunity will pass you. It's almost like you have this invisible beacon where you're always on the lookout for profitable deals. So quick decision making, quick acting, you're fast, right?
Okay.
um, Confidence is also huge. It takes courage
Mm-hmm.
sometimes to spend money on something, right? I mean, you have all these thoughts like, because it's like, what if it doesn't sell, right? So you
Like,
might have that doubt in your mind. So it takes confidence and courage in
mm-hmm.
yourself, which comes from which confidence comes from doing your due diligence.
Mm,
right? Like researching the item.
mm,
So we go back to the skills that are needed. So being able to research, making sure it's a profitable deal,
mm.
and then finally just pulling the trigger, right? So I would say, as far as mindset, another key aspect is knowing how to create pictures in people's minds. So ultimately, this is just marketing. So
Okay.
that knowing how to take a picture of an item, for example, and kind of just capturing its essence
Mm-hmm.
in such a way that just makes it attractive,
Appealing. Yeah.
right? So, and then knowing how to write ads or knowing how to write emotionally compelling or engaging ads.
Okay, I see. That's very interesting. I didn't know that like all of this work, like the behind the scenes work of flipping, you know? Like usually you just see the item on a page and then you don't know what's going on behind. That's pretty interesting. So what has been the craziest flip you've ever done?
I would say, let's see, the craziest flip. Uh, the first two items that came to mind was there was a table that I picked up once. It was a dining table.
Okay.
The table, it was actually posted for free on Craigslist.
Oh,
This table was a $13,000 table,
wow.
right? You
That's
know,
crazy.
yeah, it's crazy, right? So it was $13,000, and the person who was giving it away even had like the receipt and everything, and it came with 10 chairs. Now it's weird because the 10 chairs that came with were valued at, I think, $12,000.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. So I'm like, how in the world? I didn't even know that existed. Like, how, you know what I mean? Like a
Yeah.
13,000 table? I could see that, especially because it was like a Spanish revival antique
Oh,
table, but the chair. So anyway, it's like, oh, that's like, I don't know, 25, $26,000 worth of
that's
stuff. So I picked it up, and I wanted to sell it really fast. I wanted to get rid of it quick. I didn't want to sit on it. I ended up selling it for 1,100 bucks,
that.
right? So that's another crazy flip, I would say, which was really cool. Was It was a Porsche. So
Oh,
there was a Porsche Cayenne. I
yeah.
see it, and the guy was asking. I think he was asking 12,000 for it,
Hmm.
and I ended up getting it for $9,000.
Okay.
So I knew right away that it would have been a profitable flip,
Hey.
but I actually ended up keeping it for a year and just like enjoying it. Right? I was like, oh my god, this is the coolest car I've had. So that's another one of the kind of the perks when it comes to flipping is
You can keep,
like you can
yeah.
yeah, you can totally have all this cool stuff and just what I mean. Like I've had the coolest stuff. Like so the Porsche, I ended up uh, buying that, and then after a year, I'm like, all right, I'm done. I'm done here. So I ended up selling it for like I think $13,000. So it basically I got paid like $4,000 to drive a Porsche for a year,
That's
right? So
so cool. That's so cool.
yeah, I mean it's super fun, right?
Yeah, I can see that now. That's really cool. Um, so do you know anything like you flipped a Porsche? Do you know anything about like high-end flipping? Because I know a lot of um kids or like teens are really into like hype beasts and all the high-end flipping. So do you know anything about that?
The thing is, I don't even know what Hype Beast is. What is it? Hype Beast?
Yeah, so it's like all of like the famous and trendy like streetwear, like Off-White and like Supreme, like those brands, like people like wait in line for hours and get like a shoe or like Yeezys or something. They get the
Oh,
yeah, and then they wear it for like I don't know for a bit, and then they sell it for more than they got it. And like a lot of like I know a lot of kids my age who are doing that and they're getting like money from that. So yeah, do you know anything about that?
yeah. So I don't know a ton about it, but I did do some research. So I'm a marketer, so I'm obsessed with all this. With naturally, I'm obsessed with all things sales, marketing, psychology, people, and all that stuff. So I think a lot of it is, for example, what is it? Yeezys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of these types of products, the interesting part is when you're behind the scenes, like let's say you and I were the marketers, the people behind the scenes who create these things. We
Mm-hmm.
don't just create a shoe and sell it and suddenly it blows up. We sit down at a table. I mean, this is all planned, even including like, for example, Kanye West or whoever is the face behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So behind the scenes, we'll sit down and we literally plan, we design, we craft this. So we're going to say, okay, we're going to create a shoe
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be, we're going to create this perception behind it that
Oh,
it,
interesting.
yeah, we create that. It's not the market. I mean, obviously the market responds to it, but
Mm-hmm.
we plan it. We sit down and we create a plan. We say, we're going to create this product. We're going to create press releases and news and hype that
Yeah,
make it seem like, oh my God, we're going to get people excited. And
yeah,
we do that through, we go deeper. We don't just create ads for it and say, here's a cool pair of shoes for however much, couple $1,000 or whatever. We say, we're gonna release press releases. We're gonna create this scarcity behind it. We're gonna only create
okay.
500 of them,
Yeah,
and
that's
that's it.
a key point. That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna create only 500. We're gonna make it so that it's gold,
It's like explore.
essentially. So we create that, and obviously people, it's hypey, it's cool. You
Yeah.
got the celebrity image behind it. So it is funny because even guys like, Kanye West or whoever, um, with like the Yeezys example, they will actually say to, journalists and news people, they'll be like, because people will ask about it, and they
Mm-hmm.
might drop a tweet or something that says,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we're planning on making more. We just really can't right now. It's like super crazy or busy, or we sold out, or next year we're planning this. They'll totally create this perception, right? So it's like, obviously, if they wanted, they can create thousands and thousands of them and
Yeah,
sell them. But it's like that's part of the art and
I
the beauty of creating this movement, right?
interesting. Yeah, so cool. Um, yeah, really interesting. So as a professional flipper, what are you most proud of?
I would say one of the most, well, the biggest things that I would say I'm proud of is getting to a place where you realize that the greatest asset that you have is you. It's your skills and your knowledge. So all the work that you put in, all the learning, the skills, the training that you've developed, you can take everything away. You can take away the house, the cars, everything. You take it all away and it won't even phase you. Maybe for 60 seconds, you'll be like, shoot, this sucks. But you know that it's not a huge deal
Mm-hmm.
because you can just go recreate all of it because you are the asset. It's not like,
It's not
oh
like the
no, like,
car is the asset.
yeah,
Like,
you're not attached because you know that if everything was taken away from you, you can easily recreate it. It's kind of like the example of, um, like, there's a story of a guy who basically, if you take, like, let's say you take a millionaire, right? Or some multimillionaire,
mm-hmm.
and you literally strip away everything from him. You take away his stuff, his cars, his businesses. You take away everything, so he has literally nothing. All he has is a pair of shoes, and one set of clothes. That's it. If you place him in a completely new town or remote city or place,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, multimillionaire, you took everything away.
Mm-hmm.
Within 1 year, he will become a millionaire again. He will recreate all of that because he's the asset. His brain, his mind is the thing that's most valuable, and
That's
that's the thing that he invested in.
that's
So I mean,
point.
the biggest thing is I would recommend, like, the most valuable thing ultimately, especially today, everyone's like, I have $10,000. Where should I invest my money? Or I have $100. What should I do with it? Or even, like, it doesn't really matter. Like, people are looking for places to put their money
Mm-hmm.
or other, like, opportunities. And I always say, always pour that money into yourself.
Okay.
So invest in learning, in books, in training, and
Yeah, that's a
resources,
good point. That's yeah.
and
Like
mentors.
how to build yourself up, I guess. Yeah.
Because it's like, I can put, you can put money in, XYZ investment opportunity, but you're not in control of that money.
I see.
Like I said, the greatest asset is
Yourself.
you. So pour everything into your own self, your own learning, and your own knowledge. Your time, energy, resources. It doesn't have to be money,
Yeah.
right? Money is, you don't need money
Yeah.
to make money. Everyone's like, oh, you need money to make money. It's like, it's
Yeah.
not true.
Okay.
You just need time. You just need to make a decision.
Okay. That's a great point. Thanks for that. So what has been your biggest challenge on the other hand with flipping?
I would say, uh, I'm not sure if it's like, quote unquote, my biggest challenge, but one challenge that I did face after a while was, my capacity was being kind of topped off, because it's like, if you're flipping stuff for profit and if you're just one person,
Mm-hmm.
it's like eventually you might reach a place where, you're flipping so much that even if you wanted to, you're just one person. You don't have the capacity. You only have 24 hours in a day, right? So, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but the thing is, when that did happen, I actually ended up hiring some assistants. So I
Oh,
hired 2 to 3 people and
mhm,
fully trained them on how to, things like writing ads, things like posting and managing the ads, right? Because the things that took time, I wanted to remove time from the equation so I could focus on, for example, the finding of the deals or the acquiring it. So, I mean,
okay.
that's kind of, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. That's kind of like next level when you're crazy and you're like, you know what I mean? That's like next level. You hire people to literally, because you're flipping so much,
Yeah.
you're hiring extra muscle to help with it. But
Exactly.
um, yeah, I mean, it was one of the greatest decisions ever. So suddenly it's like, if you're one person and you're flipping and you're topped off,
Mm,
now you just literally duplicated yourself.
I see.
Now you're 3 people
Okay.
doing it. So you kind of expand your capacity.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay. Um, so what advice would you give to your 15-year-old self? It can be like in terms of anything.
I would say, uh, don't follow the crowd, or don't follow what everyone else at your school or community or whatever is doing. Take your own path of learning,
Mhm.
discovery, and one of the biggest things is develop genuine curiosity. If you have, you have to think for yourself. Like, um, one of my half brothers, he's 15,
Mhm.
going on 16. So I was spending some time with him, and it's really interesting because I see that. So I see the things he does, the things that he's into, the things that he listens to,
Yeah.
and I see the um, influence on certain things.
Okay.
But the cool part is that he does have an interest in entrepreneurship, or he does have an interest in, you know, growing. And, he's curious.
Oh,
He's seeking answers. But the thing is, in today's day and age, there's so much information.
yeah.
We live in the age of information, which is
Content overload. Yeah.
exactly. So now it's a beautiful thing that we have every piece of knowledge we'll ever need for anything right at our fingertips.
Mhm.
But what does that also mean now?
It's like we don't have to do the work. We don't have to think about anything as much.
But here's the challenge. If there's so much information
How do you
that's
condense?
good, that's bad,
How do you like know which is like the good information?
exactly. How do you know what's going to serve you? Or
Mhm.
how do you know what is going to waste 5 or 10 years of your life, right? I mean, that's the beauty about, investing time, energy, and resources in yourself, or even a book. People don't read books anymore. And I'm telling you, there's been books that I bought. I'll buy a book for, $15,
Mhm.
or I'll check out a book at the library, whatever you have to do, and
Mhm.
there will be the whole book could be useless, but there might be one sentence or one paragraph or one idea in that book that
That
will make me $20,000
that's great.
or change your life forever. So that's why, part of, as far as and this is advice not just for a teen but for adults. Unfortunately, even adults don't uh, you know I guess think this way or seek out, and I guess invest
Think
time and energy into learning, right? But it's like, imagine if there's something if there's some challenge you had, and if you were to do it on your own, it would take you 10 years. How old are you?
I'm 15.
Okay, 15. Imagine if there's something you were trying to figure out,
Mhm.
and on your own, it'll take you 10 years, maybe 25. But imagine if you asked someone else, or
Yeah.
you read a book
Yeah,
and
other
they literally told you, suddenly that thing that would have taken 10 years of your life took only 6 months.
okay.
So when you look at it like that, it's like you should be rushing to
Mm,
the books. You should be rushing to all these things because you're constantly hungry for information, for knowledge, for the answer, right?
that's
So,
interesting. Yeah,
so yeah.
that's great. I think it's a really important point, like just to say it again, like we have to develop the sense of curiosity, um, like yearn for learning. So that's an amazing point. Yeah, so how can listeners get a hold of you and learn more about flipping?
So you can go to my website, which is theflippingninja.com.
Okay.
And I'm pretty much on most social media channels, so you can go that route. But yeah, there's plenty of free information, articles, podcasts, etc. That if you're interested in learning this skill set, or
Mm.
learning, because the flipping ninja it's kind of, in a sense, it's not just about flipping per se. A lot of it is, because I like to read a lot.
Mhm.
I read a lot of books, so a lot of it is honestly, maybe ideas that I would get from a book, or personal development topics, or things that will change you at a core level, like mindset. So, like, a lot of it, honestly, is just like me posting something.
Mhm.
Is a lot of times it's just it's for me. It's for my sake. That's how people can reach me or check out my stuff. So
Okay. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. I really appreciated everything you said, and I learned a lot just now. So yeah, thank you.
yeah, of course. I hope that was of value.
Mhm.
And thanks for doing the podcast. It was fun.
Mhm.
And yeah.
Thank you.
So that's the end of the interview, and wow, I definitely learned a lot. I didn't realize this before, but flipping really does teach you about life lessons. And AJ talks about the importance of investing in yourself, which I never really thought of, learning and or reading a book, for example, as investing in yourself. But after this conversation, I definitely see how you are adding to your value, and I guess you're like rising your stock or like self-value through reading and learning and developing this sense of curiosity. The Flipping Ninja link is in the episode description if you want to check it out. And also, on that note, this week on Voices, we are featuring Livy, a teen from Chicago, who talks about her interesting perspective on money with a little Disney twist. I'm not going to give it all away. It's a really fun read, actually. You can find Voices on the Wi-Fi Matters website, which is at www.wifimatters.com. And definitely go check it out. Thanks so much, and I can't wait to talk to you guys next time.